Hi, and welcome to Meet the Candidates 2014, a voter education program brought to you by the Shakopee Chamber and Visitors Bureau. Our goal in providing these candidate interviews and profiles is to arm the voters with the information necessary to make informed and educated decisions in this year's election. Please visit shakopee.org to find out all of the information you need to know about upcoming candidate debates, as well as polling locations and times. Hi, and welcome to Meet the Candidates 2014, a voter education program brought to you by the Shakopee Chamber and Visitors Bureau. My name is Angie Whitcomb, and today I am joined by Ron Hocevar, a candidate for the Scott County Attorney position. Ron, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate your time. Why don't you start by giving our audience at home a little bit of a brief introduction on you and your history and why you're running for this office?
Absolutely. As you stated, my name is Ron Hocevar. I'm married. I have to my lovely wife Marcy. We've been married for 20 years. I have a daughter Isabella who will be 9 years old in about a month. I have a son Dominic who is 6 years old. I grew up, as well as my wife, we both grew up on the Iron Range in Minnesota, little towns called Eveleth and Gilbert. Went to undergrad, went to law school. Following law school, I joined the U.S. Navy, Judge Advocate General's Corps, JAG Corps, and served on active duty for 3 years. I was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia. After I finished my 3 years active duty time, we moved back to Minnesota, because that's where our family obviously is from. We wanted to be back near our family. And I got a job in Scott County. I started in Scott County as a line attorney. From there I moved up to be the head of the criminal division. And from there, from criminal division, I moved up to be what I am currently now, the Chief Deputy of the Scott County Attorney's Office, which means I'm second in command. I've been serving the citizens of Scott County for over 18 years in that capacity as a prosecutor in the County Attorney's Office. I am running for Scott County Attorney because I believe I am the best qualified candidate for this position. As I stated that I've been working for all of the citizens of Scott County for over 18 years. I have a vested interest in this office. I've had a hand in hiring almost every single individual in our office now, and I feel I'm the best qualified candidate for this office. I believe I'm the best leader to further lead this office upon the retirement of Mr. Celeberto, who is retiring, and that's why I want to be the Scott County Attorney, to continue operating the office in the same excellent, efficient manner that the citizens of Scott County have come to expect, and I believe I am the best person at this time to do that. Great.
Ron, in your view, what do you feel is the most pressing issue in Scott County? And if elected, how will you work to address it?
Well, the most pressing issue in Scott County can be approached by a couple different ways. I guess if you want to just look at economically, you have to look at the infrastructure for Scott County. You have to keep the infrastructure up. You want to keep businesses coming into Scott County. You want to keep the population coming into Scott County. You want to keep the money coming into Scott County. And infrastructure is one of the basic ways to do that. That's what government's for, public safety and provide infrastructure for your citizens and your businesses. And so we can provide that infrastructure through Scott County. For instance, this past spring and summer we had the big flood, as we all know about. And they opened up the Bloomington Ferry Bridge on 169. They expanded the lanes to help out because of the bridge closure on 101. And that was excellent. It helped immensely moving the citizens back and forth through the county. But now they went back to the same old lanes, even though 101 is open. Why do that? I guess I don't understand that. And we have to deal with the Met Council. And one of the issues I personally have with the Met Council, I think the last time I looked, approximately, could be more or less, but approximately 17 unelected people on that Met Council controlling, having a vast amount of control of how things affect our county. So we have to deal with them. That's a pressing issue. On the public safety side of things, our county leaders are doing a great job, as it stands now, getting the businesses into Scott County. With that comes increased population. With that comes increased crime, increased serious crime. We see a lot of drug cases. Drugs right now take up a lot of, probably the majority of my staff's time right now. And when you talk about drugs, you're talking about the offshoots of those drug issues also. You talk about the burglaries, the thefts, the assaults, the murders, In the last year and a half, we've prosecuted 5 individuals. There's currently a murder case going on right now. You look at those 5 individuals that we've prosecuted for murder, and you trace it back, somewhere along the line, drugs have been involved with why that murder has taken place. So you can trace it back. So it's infrastructure and public safety.
Great. Obviously, being the Chamber of Commerce, our focus is business. So if elected to Scott County Attorney, what 3 things would you promote or support to help enhance the health of the business community in Scott County?
Yeah, that kind of relates back to my previous answer. Infrastructure, you have to have the infrastructure, which again is one of the basic foundations of our government, is to provide that infrastructure for our citizens. So look at the infrastructure. Again, you look at public safety, including the education of our youth on drugs, on alcohol, on assaults, domestic assaults, parental assaults, children in need of protective services, the whole public safety gambit. You look at that education for our citizens on those issues. And for businesses, once you do those 2, government, get out of the way. Let the businesses operate, give them the opportunity to operate successfully, and they will come.
Great. So, in the county attorney's office, whose interests should matter the most when you're making decisions?
Another very broad question. I'll start very broad and narrow it down.
Great.
You look at, in the broad sense, everybody's interests matter. All the county citizens, you can even take it to the state level. What we do in Scott County concerning a criminal case, a child in need of protective services case, a tax case, a land use case, could have implications on all the citizens depending on how that is handled, how that's going to affect that person next door, the person across the street, wherever the case may be. So it's going to affect all the citizens of Scott County. You narrow that down further, you look at charging a criminal case that our office is prosecuting. Prosecutors have a great deal of power. We have what's called prosecutorial discretion, which means we decide who gets charged with the crime and what crime they get charged with. That is a huge responsibility, and that's a responsibility that the county attorney's office takes very seriously. Because even if an individual is later acquitted of a crime or found not guilty of a crime, that stigma will stick with them. You can look no further than the Mankato football coach of a few years ago. So we take that responsibility very, very seriously. We don't just indiscriminately charge people with crimes. We have them thoroughly investigated. There are no rushes to judgment. So that's a great responsibility, and we take it very, very seriously. So you look at from the crime point, you look at the victims. They have an interest in what we do, obviously. So we take our victim responsibilities very seriously. We have individuals in our office that are dedicated solely to making sure the victims' needs are taken care of, that they're informed of every single thing that we do, that they're informed of what their rights are. We keep track of their rights for them. We make sure they know exactly what's going on with the case. We meet with them regularly as much as they want to. And it's up to the victim, obviously, how much services they want from us, but we make sure they know that we are available to them for whatever they need. Then, of course, obviously, the defendants. As prosecutors, our role is to seek justice. It's not to seek convictions. Our role is to make sure that justice is done. So, and we take that very seriously. It goes along with the prosecutorial discretion. But even once we have a case charged, we still have a responsibility to make sure justice is done. That is what our mission is.
Great. Sort of along those lines, now that you've explained the role, if somebody were to come to you and say, we're thinking of moving our business or our family to Scott County, but we're wondering why it would be ideal and how safe it is, how would you answer that question?
I would say, great, come on to Scott County. We have a great community, we have a great county, we have a great government. All the local leaders are extremely approachable. We're not the Twin Cities. We're still a relatively small county where if you want to talk to a mayor of a town, you can talk to a mayor directly. If you want to talk to a chief of police of a town, you get to talk to that chief of police. If I'm elected county attorney and the current county attorney, you want to talk to me, you'll be able to talk to me. So it's still not big enough that you cannot do those things. If you want to talk to the county administrator or one of the commissioners, you can talk to them. we have a very safe community. I already mentioned that, you know, we have issues. There's crime. Wherever you have people, you have crime. But the crime rate is in control. We have a great law enforcement throughout the county, great sheriff's office. Every single city we have, I can't be more pleased with our law enforcement. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not on the phone with somebody in law enforcement talking about an investigation or what's going on in the county. So between law enforcement and the county attorney's office, we do have our pulse in the community. We know what's going on, and there's nothing that's out of control. We prosecute cases very aggressively. They're investigated very aggressively. And so I tell people like moving here, it's a great community to come to. That you will not be disappointed.
Great. Well, the last question we have for you should be an easy one for you to answer. And that is, why do you feel you're the best candidate for this job?
I believe I'm the best candidate because, as I indicated, I've been working for the citizens of Scott County for over the past 18 years. My opposing candidate cannot make that claim. I talked about how I moved up from line attorney to criminal division head to second in command. I've had a hand in hiring almost every single person in this office. I continue to prosecute primarily the felony level, higher level felony cases like murder, like rape cases. One important point I'd like to make is that I'm the best person to lead this office because it's been said that leadership by example is not the main thing, it is the only thing. And the staff in the office, they have seen me try hard cases. They have seen me make hard decisions, and they will continue to see me do that. When I ask somebody in my office to try a hard case, to make a hard decision, they know that I'm not asking them to do something that they have not seen me do, or that they do not know that I'm willing to do. My opponent cannot make that claim. So to deal with the complexities of all the things that we've talked about with the various county agencies, with the crime, dealing with the many interests that go into what we deal with in the county attorney's office, I believe I'm the most qualified person to deal with those. I've got the legal knowledge, I've got the confidence of my staff, and I'm in the best position to deal with those complexities that face the county from the county attorney's office perspective. So I would ask the citizens to make an informed decision, and after you do that, I'm confident that you will make the right choice and vote for me on November 4th. If you have any question on who you should vote for, I would suggest you ask somebody in the court system. I would suggest you ask a police officer, ask another attorney who works in the system who you should vote for. If you do that, I think you'll make the right decision.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today, Ron.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this edition of Meet the Candidates 2014. Please visit shakopee.org for all of the information you need on upcoming candidate debates, as well as polling locations and times.